morning and welcome to another Health Talk. I'm John T. I will be your host. Today I am going to be talking about what are fats. I'm going to do a two-part series on this. And with that, so as I was doing research for the omega balance, which I will be continuing, I came across some things, the answers to some other questions that I had that, well, it kind of helped me understand how things work a little bit later on. And one of those things was about cholesterol. They say, well, cholesterol is fat. And I thought to myself, no, not really. Well, here's the scoop. It's made from fat. So I guess it kind of is. It's considered a lipid. There's a lot of different types of lipids, and they have different roles in the body. And there's different types of fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6, which are types of unsaturated fats, and there's also saturated fats. And they have different roles in the body. So now I'm going to talk about some of the uses for fats, why we have cholesterol and these different types of fats and what they do. So in order to cover this, we're going to take a look at a cell here. Now I don't have any fancy animations or I don't have the right programs for that. I'm going to look into getting one. So here's just something I did up on Paint for you guys. So here you can see the red is supposed to be like a blood vessel. So there's fluids that your blood plasma is actually mostly water. And then we have the cell in the green, and then I indicated that there's more, cells beside with other green. And the inside stuff is just, parts of the cell. There's different things like mitochondria and a nucleus. I mean, this is nothing too accurate. I just put in a couple little things. So the yellow, that's the cell membrane. That's what we're going to be covering today. So if we zoom in, this is what we're looking at. So you can see here the green down below is for the rest of the cell, and the red above is for the blood vessel. So what is this yellow stuff in it? Well, that's fat. So the circles are a phospholipid. The whole thing is a phospholipid. But the circles are a phosphate group that allows contact with the water. You see, the other thing about lipids is that they don't like water. They're hydrophobic, actually. I joke around that they're afraid of water. So they have a head that allows them to interact and dissolve in water. So that's actually another property that lipids have. So there's the fatty acid tail, and I've kind of separated so you can see that this is actually a different end. There's actually two chains. It's a double-ended. So there's one that goes out to the blood vessels and one that comes into the cell. And what happens is this is like the door. These walls are basically the door to how they allow things to come in. You see, there's also protein in here too. There's also vitamins and different fat-soluble things in there, which I'm going to come to in a minute. So what protein does is, depending on the signals, whatever message gets received, it sends out a protein so that it can accept things into the cell, right? The protein messenger says, oh, okay, this is what we're looking for. We need more of this nutrient, and this, blood cell comes along and deposits it, or takes stuff out. And this blue stuff is cholesterol. Now cholesterol also helps regulate. It kind of acts as a little bit of a filler. So it'll either kind of help loosen the wall to let stuff in or help it close up to keep big stuff out, like, you know, viruses or bacteria, stuff that's not supposed to be in there now. Unfortunately, that's a little bit more complicated because, you know, depending on their proteins, you know, I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole different topic. So anyway, all you really need to know is that unsaturated fats are a little bit more flexible. So this membrane can expand to let stuff in. Now, obviously, you know, you probably don't want it to be able to open up too much. And you probably don't want it to be closed up too tight. Saturated fats help keep it nice and tight and snug. So you want a good mix and a good balance between the two. So to say that saturated fats or unsaturated fats are bad for you would definitely be a bit of a stretch. And you can even see the importance of protein for this whole process and a little bit how that works. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can catch more episodes. Next week, I'll be talking about body fat. The body has special tissue where it stores fat. So I'm going to be covering that next week in part 2 before I return back to the Omega Balance. So please stay tuned, stay happy, stay healthy, have a good 24. See you next week.